Oh. Lately, I feel all I do is, you know, bitch and moan and complain. Just sitting here watching TV, allowing the mental health to play out. It's interesting for the most part. So let me tell you about trying to reflect, and come to terms with what everything that happened. I tried to mention all the rapes, the ones that I could, clearly remember. There were several more, but it was just like, I was young enough that, you just don't remember it. I can't even sleep at night anymore. But then again, my theory on that is they overdosed us on psych meds, but that's our fault too for talking about the shit that was going on in the Mason County area. Armageddon time looks like an interesting. I could have swore what I saw and heard. Maybe I'm wrong. People call me paranoid. I just know what I've been through, so I'm overly suspicious of everything. It's not paranoia when you show severe concern for, rape situations and things that are sexual. Yeah, my humor is pretty disgusting sometimes, and it even disgusts me sometimes. But it pretty much just comes out. Like with people bitching about social media posts. It's like this is Tourette's in the modern age. Literally. Not to mention my, physical health. I never could sleep. Then again, totally sober, I lost consciousness behind the wheel at 17 because I've been having strokes due to their crap for a long time. TIAs and strokes and such. Do you think my parents or the school board gave a shit whether I had medical attention? And I flash back all the time to the stand up and place your hands behind your back. They convinced me I was hallucinating and delusional so that when the cops would run in, I'd think, oh, it's nothing. So if they want to, do their thing, I was groomed to make it more fun for the detaining, arresting officer. That's why Metaview had their team, an understanding. The understanding. If you all think I'm just trying to dog everything in Mason County, why would I try to down the hospital for no reason other than Nancy Gutman? But, who the fuck cares? There are other hospitals, there are other doctors. The hospital really did have that situation going on where, they had an understanding of what could and could not, have occurred and how to cover it. I requested a copy of the document presented to Kim Razor before she signed off on it without even meeting me, that I remember, for the court thing. And I didn't agree with that. I don't think that's what I said. Then again, it was, 2 or 3 in the morning. 2 or 3 in the morning, and Tina Jones Wallace looked like she had, been through the ringer or something. So yeah, I had mental health crises with, this is how it is. You're now under arrest for property damage. I'm gonna tell you right now, cops came into that fucking goddamn house that my asshole had to help pay for and started doing their shady shit because I was talking about the drugs flowing within their thing. Nobody believed me. Nobody gave a damn because, we are not like that. We are not like that. Ben Hardy, uh, Clay Boozer, K Pump, we're not like that, man. Yeah, right. Not saying Ben Hardy, Clay Boozer, or Kenton Pumpelly did property damage. I'm just saying that's the bro thing. But obviously, with Officer Pollitt shooting at a Fleming County deputy, they're fucking perfectly capable of behaving that way. What proof do you have? Well, take it up with the subpoena and Matt Lewis's social media accounts. He messaged me claiming he needed someone to talk to. It's probably just so him and his friends could scope out the residence. It felt like he was slicing my shit off from left to right that night. I guess so. Well, I showed you the photo, the SOS message. Nobody cared. Oh, well. So, yeah, that's been my life. Wouldn't trade it for anything. I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot, I've been through a lot. Hopefully, it can help other people. Hopefully, what I went through doesn't happen to anyone else, and what I have been through, if it's a positive or a negative, hopefully it can help other people. You know, with these cops claiming there is no such thing as the blue wall of silence, it's quite evident. I'll tell you one of the cases I'm talking about. Someone in California had a buddy in, I think it was Illinois, do a search warrant or something. Of course, we're supposed to look out for our own. That's common fucking sense. But at the same time, you don't take it to a personal level and help each other out by, well, I know this virgin, it'd be some good whatever. I mean, I don't want to get too dirty because I don't want to make assumptions. However, I find that totally sickening that my cousin's coworker would say that to one of her friends or something. But that's apparently just how it works in this world. It's just paranoia. Yeah, right. They claimed that she was afraid of me. I never even laid my hands on her. I think when I was helping her shower right after surgery, I think I might have squeezed her wrist a little too hard sometimes, but that wasn't like a harmful, intentional thing. That was because I can't feel my right side and I still believe it's the dominant one because I'm an idiot, when in reality I should be learning to use my left side more. But all that's unimportant, according to the people who caused the damage. Another thing that really gets to me with people, it's like, can you get up and do this immediately? It's like, let me at least write it down or something. I can't do it right away. And if I don't write it down, I'll forget. They blame it on the narcotic pain management, when in reality, I haven't been able to remember anything truly, you know, like right off the top of my head without really thinking since I was bludgeoned when I was a kid. And that's, an annoyance in itself. I think I said it earlier. I feel like an elderly dementia patient. An elderly dementia patient. How in the hell does this thing work? How in the hell does this thing work? And of course, the medications didn't help. And I just love it how Tourette's truly is protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act in public places. All the while, if you're walking on the street and somebody doesn't, understand the Tourette's syndrome, like when I was walking over in Sharonville one of the other days, one of the neighbor people over there was like, "Are you that crazy person that was over here last year?" Crazy person. And I said, "I apologize. I have Tourette's syndrome." And he just gave me a kind of like a dirty look and was like, "Okay." I apologized to him, for fuck's sake, and he got a dirty look on his face. I'm like, "I'm sorry. It's annoying to no one more than me. I'm not just some, vagrant wandering the streets trying to scope homes. I'm out walking. It helps keep my mind clear. It's Tourette's, and when I'm in more pain, I'm just a bitch. That's just how it is." So when Dr. Patty recommended Seroquel for chronic pain causing mood and behavioral changes, I thought, well, how fucking stupid can she be prescribing an antipsychotic for chronic pain off label? Anyway, after the Seroquel, I wandered up to Kevin and Lisa's creek driveway and passed out in my underwear, prescribing Seroquel off label for chronic pain causing mood and behavioral changes. But that's not criminal. File a lawsuit. Okay, okay. No, I'm just going to talk about it all publicly about Primary Plus. Prescribing Seroquel off label for chronic pain and causing all this stupid shit to happen. Or not even helping it. Oh well. Let me tell you about Matt Gerald's. I'm their IT man and his pretty bow ties at the downtown date rape bars. It's always nice to see Matt. No, I don't think I will. My apologies for my behavior. I've been under so much stress lately. Been under so much stress lately that, my brain just basically melted. Then, as I pointed out, Medusa. Medusa got poisonous snakes for hair after coming clean with her rape, trying to report it and let the world know. You know, I wonder what I'll get. So, like I said, Dr. Patty prescribing Seroquel off label for chronic pain, and my brother in law fixing their finances, and Matt Gerald's at the downtown date rape bars, and them contracting with MCDC and Malibu Barbie, going from the Mason Family Drug to establishing a new pharmacy for them. Well, I've already talked about, the Winses, the Masons, the Boggs, the Dentons, the Saps. I hate to complain. It's not really complaining, it's pointing out suspicious activities. They want to point the finger at me and be like, look what you did in your day. Well, yes, we all make mistakes. We all make bad choices. Being hazed was not my choice. It's not my choice that people try to get the one up on everyone at any opportunity. I never was that way. If that's what people consider this, that was me trying to be a good friend, trying not to enable people, but trying to be there for them and being dragged through a whole ton of shit. Sometimes things that, I don't want to go out drinking tonight. And that's a benign thing. I don't want to go out drinking tonight. No, I really don't want to, get fucked tonight. In adult life, when, it was consensual, when I was more sober and coherent and not blacked out. Mason County law enforcement making the statement, and their associates making the statement that men don't get raped. Yeah. It goes right into the semen belongs to the women and all this other sick shit that the school district taught us, including sex sells. I don't mean to be a, rag fag, but that type of shit really harms children. It really does. It does not prepare them for the real world. Giving the message that prostitution gets people places and keeps industry going is not best said by sex sells with a sexual innuendo influence on it, as if condoning it. Just like her message of, never tell men with guns no. Well, obviously, which is why I had a problem with the hazing. But it's different in that situation. Take Kentucky, for example. Hazing laws are only extended to university fraternities, if I understood the law as it was written correctly. Ohio, since I've lived here, upped their hazing laws, as they should have. Because all this crazy stuff that causes people to be permanently injured, thus possibly requiring medical cannabis, or at least cannabis as an option, should be addressed. Conversion reparative therapy. I was disappointed to see the Ohio lawmakers shoot that one down. Is it not like it's not important enough to cover? Another thing that most people don't understand, I think they think it's an annoyance. Like, if someone touches me, it itches. It really does. And I think people think I'm grabbing at them to, like, take their hand away from me. It itches. It's annoying as fuck. Annoying, because it's like, why is that itching? The sensory. They're not hallucinations. They're deficits and sensory misperceptions due to the bludgeoning and such. It's so fucking annoying. That's like a lot of times when I take clothes out of the dryer, I have to ask. I have to ask someone, I'm like, is this still wet or is it just cold? But none of these things were ever documented in the medical documentation because they didn't want them documented. I don't know why that's so hard to understand. What am I supposed to do? Go to the Mayo Clinic and be like, I need a week to describe everything that happens with my body and brain? Like I had stated, all I ever wanted was to love, be happy, be healthy. Of course, it was always blamed on my actions. You know, you're going against God's will, and that's why you're sick. You know it. Help him, Lord. No offense to people who truly believe in faith healing. However, this whole, going against God's will and being a queer and being divorced and those who wake up to the morning to strong drink and all that other interesting stuff. People who eat seafood, hooved animals. I think the message the Bible taught us about those things, the vegans and vegetarians practice, and you know what? They live longer on normal. Our family had red meat almost every night. You know, we were farmers, so we raised our own beef. And that, has its own health risks. If we slaughtered our own chickens, we had them. Sometimes we went fishing, but after all that lime dust and stuff was pumped into the river, well, I guess they have their own ash ponds or whatever. But all that stuff coming up out of DP&L floats and falls everywhere. And then it washes into the river. That's why all the fish that would come up out of the river had ulcers and stuff on them. The acidity or something of the water. I started refusing to eat them. It's like, yeah, I'll go fishing, but they're going back in the water. Woohoo! We're going to pray. Are we? As I said, I think modifying the medical documentation to, you know, have the right diagnoses in it would help the situation a lot. But, that's not their problem. Actually, it was a crime. It's called fraud to falsify medical documents. The mania psychosis, according to them, would fit right into hypersexuality to mark my rape story off a little bit more. So, as I said, fraud is a crime. The mental duress inflicted by them falsifying medical documentation is a Class CD felony. So let me tell you how Mrs. Boggs falls under KRS 216.302. That's not a threat, it's just reality. And that's why KRS 503.100 exists. They drive people to suicide and then have carte blanche to use deadly force against them, whether the suicidal patient is just sitting there quietly or not. You heard it right. Just like in 35 states, including Kentucky and Ohio, detained people are legally allowed to be raped. It's easy for those cops in 35 states to rape detainees, and then the detainees not be able to file a complaint report about it. Because in those 35 states, it's basically seen as an interrogation tactic. We can rape you into submission, and that's sickening, especially when it's a kid under 12. So let me tell you why they legalized sodomy and decriminalized suicide in 1993. Oh well. Where did I go to law school? Wouldn't they love to know? An aura, the bright white light that's blinding. Yes, I know all about migraine symptoms. I've had a stroke. Know all about migraine symptoms. The symptoms are outrageous. If they just want to sit and bitch about the mental health symptoms, I think they have, a little bit of education left to do. Because believe it or not, the physical symptoms play a big role in the psychological ones, especially when there's neuropsychiatric physical damage. Totally undocumented as well. And that's just me sitting here. I think it's sickening that KRS 503.100 exists because you have no clue how many times I've read a case file where they simply assumed someone was suicidal. It's another reason they didn't like me speaking publicly about all these issues concerning mental health and my own, because they knew how dangerous the subject was. But let me tell you how unconstitutional Kentucky Revised Statute 503.100 is. It violates federal disability hate crime. That's one of the reasons I was so proud to see the ACA focus on mental health care for a change, making it a priority. Then again, in states like Kentucky that have laws like KRS 503.100, sometimes it can be, a slap in the face to a patient. Patients shouldn't fear coming forward about their true mental health out of fear of death. Let me tell you about Comprehend and the Kehoe rape barn, and them yanking me out of the room so I couldn't even finish the conversation about human trafficking. And like I said, Deputy Gill's wife, Rebecca Lewis, and I'm pretty sure Matt's her cousin, Rebecca Lewis working with my heroin ex husband in Stephanie Schumacher's drug peddling department and then going to Comprehend. Yeah, that's pretty suspicious if you ask me. Especially when they started threatening to drag me to Comprehend to make me take medication. I don't care how serious the accusation is, it's accurate. It's a cause for concern, just like Patrick Boggs' wife's company contracting with MCDC. I'm pretty sure she was still with Mason Family Drug, but I could be wrong. Just like I asked for personnel files. They could be, redacted might not be the right word, badge numbers and years employed before I started making the statements of people who had come forward to me as an outcry witness concerning being raped by Mason County law enforcement. People think I'm just creating this, but I'm not. That's how much people trusted me. I've probably let some people down, but at the same time, this isn't about them, and it's not about me. It's about the wrongdoing occurring to the children, and only the select children. Select children, sorry. Halloween Resurrection's on. I like the Halloween movies. Michael Myers. It's probably my favorite. And people probably think, how can you sit around, instead of being out looking for more work? Hell, I was going to work at Mike's car wash in the tunnel cleaning it at night. I'm not above service work. Hell, as long as I'm able to do it, why not? It's like I was packaging, but at this point in time, I really don't feel like I'm up to working. And that's sad enough to say without people pointing their fingers and saying, if you just worked harder, you could. Yeah, I know. I know. Let me push myself into having another emotional mental health crisis only for them to come in and slam me against more treatment or in jail or prison. And me winding up meeting more people in there, sharing my stories with them, and watching it just, well, tell me all your secrets and I'll tell you mine. And that's why they had gang members after me the last time in the mental health care facility. That dude approached me that night after they had put me on medication. I guess they thought I wouldn't remember it. Like he was in my face being like, "You seem wise." I'm like, "What in the fuck are you talking about?" And then I think he was, bipolar. But I could be wrong. I didn't mean to offend him. He was a nice enough kid when he was okay. But then in the next breath he was like, "I want to shake your hand." And I'm like, okay. I hope the cameras catch me giving a gang member a handshake. Somebody I've never met in my life. Poor kid. At one minute it seemed like he was threatening me, and then the next he was normal, nice. I have no clue. I'm sure people will come at me saying, "You cost us this, you cost us that," or possibly. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? You people didn't give a shit. Bob and Gwen Grutza, so involved with the school district, just like Franklin and Kathleen, and they had no idea what was going on. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And this is life for a mobile person. As I ask myself, in the world, I'm assuming Eric Crawford, from everything I've read about him, feels like he's living in a tornado all the time. Well, welcome to my mobile world. And it's definitely not the pain management. It's just how it is for me. That's why my little toes are turned outwards. Because I've had problems with my balance and equilibrium after being suffocated and dead for at least, half an hour to 45 minutes as an infant. According to them, the family. So, I think I've done fairly fucking well for myself. not dwelling on it psychologically and the psychological sadness holding me back. I had to get over that shit. Dad would have killed me if I hadn't. Or she would have. Or Shell would have. That's just how it was growing up at home. I'm not clinging to it as an excuse for any current behavior. It's an explanation for mental health. I grew up with shanks in the homemade shanks in the bathroom. The shoe things out of good shoes, they keep them formed. Those weird things snapped off at the end to make it sharp. Yep, and that was my home life. People thought it was perfect. Brian White called my father a good man. You don't have a goddamn clue, Mr. White. Believe me, I was married into emergency medical services out of the area. I understand how it works. It's one of the good things about being a person like me. You meet all kinds of different people in the world, learn all kinds of different things. He was a good person. I don't think he ever did anything to anyone. But a topic that is not discussed a lot in this country um, is, there are groups of people, especially if there's no woman present, like when my cousin had her incident with the ambulance, there was no woman present. I was so concerned I started to get out of my vehicle and approach the ambulance. I was afraid to. Finally, after 10 to 15 minutes, they turned around and, headed for the hospital. And I saw the cop get back in his car and leave, and I left, to follow the ambulance to the hospital. Normally, those people ask questions in front of witnesses at the hospital like they're supposed to. I witnessed her throwing a pair of panties away not long afterwards. She claimed she had broken out with some kind of weird fungal infection and restarted her period. Those are all signs. And, she was so out of it, she wouldn't have remembered. And I have a legitimate concern about it. I called in to the police department and they were like, you'll have to find more information on your own. And I'm like, well, oh well, nice to see things are no different here about, possible rapes and other crimes. So, as I said, let me tell you about Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, 2004, and frat boys. And then the situation with the uncut cops in Bethel. Yeah. Oh well. Oh well. So, let me tell you about coworkers pimping their, coworkers out. I found that highly disgusting. So they want to come at me and say, that's not what happened. This isn't what happened. We're mashing you and arresting you. Your cousin said she was afraid of you. Your cousin said this. After listening to my cousin, I'm pretty sure that they're trying to, help facilitate something else. So I sent in my tip to the FBI about it. They probably won't do anything either. Oh well. Oh well. I think it's kind of sickening that she said she's a 50-year-old and I think she's a virgin. That's sickening. So who in the hell do I report it to? I called Springdale PD. They were like, whatever. The woman I spoke with. So, oh well. Let me tell you about them coming in and mashing me, claiming she was afraid of me after telling me about the possible rape. And mashing me for no reason, and to the point I tried to kill myself. It's called a hate crime. Oh well. Boo-hoo. Let me tell you about foot drop. It's annoying. You seem wise. Yeah. Hooray. So huge thank you to whatever doctor. Fun fact, any doctor can sign off on it, and the judge signed off on whatever the cops did here with Denise, my cousin's co-worker, and her, I'm assuming, cop friend being concerned. So, oh well, let me tell you about her, talking about a possible rape. Wasn't me. That's sickening. Oh well. Oh well. So let me tell you about them causing so much mental duress, I attempted suicide. I'll have to look up the code here in Ohio and see how it is. And there goes the pop again. Boo-hoo. It's a concern for me. Yeah, I'm sure. I think that those people, if they want to sit and complain that that was a private conversation, they shouldn't have included my mental health in it, which, believe it or not, does affect my true mental health. Fun fact, any doctor can sign off on it. Fun. Let me tell you about her story about, the possible rape. Oh well. So let me tell you about the Tri-County Mall and it being redeveloped, and this Section 8 housing in our neighborhood getting a full remodel. People updating and upgrading the way they should, investing in good things. Oh, boo-hoo. So let me tell you how about the underlings come in, and my commanding officer has to answer for those things. Yeah, we all have to answer for our goddamn actions, don't we? You all find language offensive. I find child rape offensive. Granted, I'm not a child anymore, but due to my mental health, I'm not really capable of consenting, especially when I'm under pressure, like being smashed, my clothes yanked off of me or something. So, no, thank you. Well, it smells like someone else is in the room. It's not a bad odor, but it smells like someone else is in the room. Oh well. Honestly, I tried to report it. Local. You go on and try to submit tips. It says call your local people. Yeah, right. I tried to report it to the local people. They told me I would need to know the number. Cell phone numbers and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, whatever. So, good faith goes a long way for a bunch of bullshit, doesn't it?